guys, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well and having a lovely day. So today we're going to be working on another family home. So I wanted to make this one a little bit smaller because all of my builds lately have been a bit on the big side of things. So I wanted to make sure that I had a different range of building sizes so that they weren't too expensive for actual gameplay, because obviously the big homes I make are kind of out of budget for actual gameplay, so that is what we're doing today. So this home was built for 5 Sims, 2 parents, 2 children and an infant with a husky dog. So I wanted to make sure that the children weren't necessarily like little children, but they were more like 11, 12-year-olds, so I made their rooms a bit more like pre-teen rooms rather than like little kids. So I haven't done that before, which I thought was quite nice for a change, because usually I make them very like childlike then. So I really like how it turned out. So we're just working on the roofing. I do change it around a bit. As usual, I'm so indecisive on colour schemes in the beginning, so I did that part off camera. And I also made a fake trampoline, as you can see, with debug items. I did it off camera because I've never done it before and it could have gone terribly wrong, and it did take me a while. But I thought it was really cool, so I mean, it's not usable, but I just wanted to attempt to make one because I'd love if we had trampolines in the game. Could you imagine? I know there's mods for it, but I don't use mods. I've never actually used a mod, which is shocking considering I've played Sims for like 15 years. Yeah, I've used custom content in the past, but never mods. Anyway, so we're just working on the terrain paint. I wanted to have like a little driveway for the car, but enough space so that the kids could play at the front as well. I'm just adding in a little pathway to the trampoline. I did try out adding some steps up to the trampoline, but it looked a bit silly, so I just lowered the circular part down. So yeah, just adding in some landscaping, and I went for a purple theme, a bit of pink here and there, and mostly greenery. I did try and add in a swing out the front, but it just wasn't working, so I decided to go for a toddler slide. I mean, obviously we don't have a toddler yet, but the little infant will soon be of age where she can go on this adorable whale slide, so I thought I'd include it. And I'm obsessed with these bikes, honestly guys. From growing together, they are just so cute. I love that the children can ride them now. So now we're moving on to the interior. Now, when I started doing the floor plan, I didn't know what I wanted. I never pre-plan before I draw these walls. I did mess around with it a bit to try and work out what worked best for the idea I had. I do end up changing it a little bit off camera. I didn't change the upstairs though. Don't you guys hate it when the trees clip in the walls? It drives me absolutely bonkers. But it had to clip a little bit, so hey ho. So I'm just adding in the lighting, and then we move on to the kitchen. Now this kitchen, I never usually do kitchens backwards, if that makes any sense. So when you look at the build from the front of the house, they're always like facing you or to the side, but this one is facing the back, which I don't usually do. But I really like how it turned out, and I love this colour swatch. I just think it's really like homely, and it's from the Parenthood pack, I do believe. So yeah, it's just very fitting for a family vibe home. So I'm just adding in some extra details, and this little bread thing. I honestly can't think what it's called, guys. I decided not to add in mirrors this time. I added in one singular mirror as a backsplash, which is a first. It never happens, it's always the whole wall. So I'm just adding in some soap, which I usually forget to do in the kitchen, but it's definitely a must-have. I'm adding in some stuff for the back walls, some cutlery and some utensils. And I did think about putting a coffee machine there, but I thought it looked a bit misplaced, so I decided not to. I added in a sofa in the kitchen because my toddlers usually like to leave the room entirely if you have them eat there, to go to the lounge or the living space, so I decided to put a sofa there so that they didn't have to completely leave the room. So hopefully that'll be useful for you guys. I never really know what to add to my dining spaces. I tend to add like some little chairs and like lights, but I never really know what to fill the corners with, so I just went for this cozy little sofa and this little table from Growing Together, but I downsized it because it seemed a bit big next to the chair. Do you guys find that as well? That like the bedside tables or the coffee tables are either really small or really big? But they're like really pretty, but just the size seems really off, unless it's just me. But let me know. So now we're moving on to the official dining room. This is like the one where they have their Christmas meals and like family parties. I wanted to keep it quite simple because, like I said in my other builds, it's difficult enough to try and get them all to sit down together, so I don't want too much clutter in the way, preventing them getting to the table. So I kept it quite simplistic and just very neutral. I do always struggle with knowing what pictures to put on the wall. I went for these like old-fashioned pictures. There's like memory wall type thing, like I imagine maybe the parents, like ancestors, or I'm not too sure, but it just felt fitting. The modern vibe didn't seem to fit in too well for that room, so anyway, moving on to the hallway. So I really like this style. I've never really done a hallway like this before. I really like the use of the Dream Home Decorator cupboards, the little boxes on the right side or left side when you walk in. Yeah, I just think it's really cute, and it stores their stuff really well, and it's like the perfect little place for shoes, and it just feels really like homely and lived in. So yeah, so now we're moving on to the lounge. Now it's a very awkward space to fill, and this coffee table was really awkward to place because the angle was just slightly off every time and it was driving me mad, but I think it's level in the end, I hope. So it was a very awkward shape because there's a lot of corners and it's kind of like at a really strange angle, but I think the space filled up quite nicely in the end, but it definitely was an unusual shape to decorate, shall we say. So I'm just adding in some lamps and this extra little rug, which I absolutely love, and some kids' toys. So yeah, not too much going on, but enough to make it feel homely. So next up, we are moving on to the downstairs bathroom. I really like this bathroom. I added in some little candles. I'm not sure what pack the candles are from. Is it the bathroom clutter kit? Gosh, I should know that. I think so, yes, it is. I just think it fits in really well and it makes it feel lived in. That's like my main goal when I do my family homes, just to make it feel like cluttered enough that people live here, but not like too much, obviously, because sometimes I do way too much and then I'm like, oh gosh, it's a bit messy. So moving on, we are now doing the little playroom. Now I did make it more of like a feminine vibe to it then, because the youngest is a little girl. So I went with this strawberry theme. They do have 2 older children, but they kind of get into the age where they don't play as much anymore. But I mean, they obviously can. And I left some violins in here for them to practice some music, and the science desk or science table. So yeah, they've all got something to do in here, which I thought was really nice to have that communal space for the children. So next up, we're moving on to the upstairs. Now this is the parents' bedroom. Again, quite an odd shaped home, to be honest, but I think it turned out nicely, she says. I hope it did. I hope you guys like it. It's quite small for what I'm used to building. It's obviously not small at all as like a normal sized home, but lately I've been making these huge like 8 sim homes, so doing a 5 sim home was like quite relaxing for a change. So I'm just adding in some glitter to the bedroom, and then we move on to the bathroom. I didn't film the parents' bathroom because it was really small and they all look the same anyway, so you'll see in the screenshots what it looks like, but basically the same as what I'm making now. Yeah, so my usual white bathrooms. I tried to add in these blinds, but it looked a bit silly, but it's fine, I kept them there. So next up we're moving on to the infant's room. I never know what to go for colour schemes because I like them being like neutral colours, but then I love the strawberry wallpaper, and like the peachy pink just is like such a cozy colour, but I don't mean for like the girls' bedrooms to be pink, but I just love the colour, so I can't help myself. So I do apologise that most of my infants' rooms are this pinky colour if they're baby girl infants, but yeah. Just got a thing about this wallpaper, I think, which is from the Pastel Pop kit, if you didn't know, which I love. The Pastel Pop kit is amazing, and the wallpaper in this room is also from the Pastel Pop kit. So this is the older daughter's room. As I said, I imagine she's about 11 or 12, not like a young child, you know what I mean, not like 6 to, I don't know, 9. So I'm just adding in some clutter on her desk. I don't like adding in computers for the younger children because, I mean, I don't imagine someone that age would have a computer. Possibly. These days probably, but certainly not when I was little. So I'm just adding in these stars on the wall. I think it added in, like, I don't know, just it felt really cozy and homely and added a lot more personality in my opinion. And I decided to go back and find these little cupboards from Dream Home Decorator, which I adore. And I just think it looks really cute with all the little clutter in the boxes, and it looks a bit like an IKEA cupboard, which I have in my own room, which has all of my Sims games in there. Sims 3 games, because everything's digital now. Do you guys hate that as well? I mean, yeah, sure, it's handy, but like as a collector, it's like so frustrating that you can't get the physical copies anymore. I guess you can, some of them, but they don't have a disc with it, it's just the code. But yeah, I've got all of my Sims 3 and Sims 2 and some of Sims 4. I think I've got Cats and Dogs Seasons and Get to Work, I think. I could be wrong, but yeah. I really wish I had all of the physical copies because I just love Sims so much. Anyway, moving on, we are now doing the other son, not the other sons, I've only got one son, the son's bedroom. Now, I imagine he's slightly younger than the other girls, maybe he's like 10, 11 and she's 12-ish. So again, I didn't want to add a computer because, I don't know, this doesn't seem right, so I gave him an iPad, just like the daughter. I imagined that he liked basketball and sports and was also really into studying. I think that's kind of like the vibe I got for this room. So I added in some clutter under the desk, because you know how children can be. All his papers from studying and drawing and doodling, and some cologne for like when he's trying to impress the ladies or the guys, or just trying to be a bit of a show-off, I think. So now we're moving on to the outside. I added in this little ring thing from Debug, which is by the tree over on the right, which I was going to make a swing out of, and I left it in case you guys can actually do what I was trying to do but correctly, because I attempted it and then just went, nope, it's gonna look really stupid, so I decided to get rid of it, but I left it in because I thought maybe you guys could find the item and then give it a go, perhaps. So let me know if you do, because I'd love to see. And I've never seen the item before. It's like a rubber ring, this thing. Yeah, I put it up way too high, and then I found these like string things from Island Living, but yeah, it was just looking silly and it just didn't work, but you got the idea. So if you guys can figure out how to do that, be sure to let me know. Yeah, I have done one before, but like it took forever because it was made out of these like wooden posts that were really small, and I had to keep like sizing them up, and it still didn't look very realistic, but it's on my gallery somewhere. So yeah, we are coming to the end of the video now, guys. Well, the screenshots. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this smaller family home, and I shall see you guys next time. Make sure to check out my other videos, and I shall see you soon. Thanks guys, bye!